And welcome to Game 2 in the ZOTAC finals between Lucifer, spawning as the gray undead in the bottom part of the map, versus Kenshin, spawning as the blue human in the top part of the map. Indeed, indeed. Last game was intense. In this game, it's going to be on Ancient Isles. Now, let's see, Altar of Kings, Barracks, that's good. We have Altar of Darkness, Ziggurat. Okay, so I think we're going to be seeing very similar strategies to what we saw last game. Both very standard plays. It's very likely that that's what we're going to have happen here. Now, that was a good sound to make on a stream, on a cast. Why not? Why not? I would, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds just great. So, let's see here. Let's just keep watching. It looks like we're going to have a scout acolyte coming out from Lucifer. He's probably going to put up a shop, and this time it doesn't look like he's going to be in any danger of trapping his DK. That's good. Because that's just never good. That's just never something you want to have happen. Over here we can see that this is going to be a Barracks and Altar of Kings going up right here, which is nice. And let's see, it looks like it's actually going to be a Mountain King coming out first this time. And let's just see, that's going to be a Death Knight, because sometimes Lucifer does indeed do a Lich. This is a Graveyard, so yes, he's going to be playing that very standard build that he was using before as well. But this time we're going to be seeing the Mountain King, so that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I do believe normally we see Archmage on this map, but it'll be interesting to see a Mountain King as well. I think it definitely could work. And actually, I think I've seen maybe Thu. I've seen Thu doing some Mountain King with rifles on this map. I'm not sure what we'll see exactly here, but it'll be interesting either way. Here you can see there's a acolyte scouting right here, but more than just scouting, he is also blocking that particular path, or at least he's trying to, and he can play Ring Around the Rosie with that footman a little bit. Because ultimately, these units are going to come down through here with some militia, and they're all going to be trying to get into this. And just by blocking this little tree path, you actually do go ahead and utilize, make it slow the creep down a little bit. Now, we do have two footmen coming in here. They may very well get a surround off. Here we can see Lucifer coming in here, just getting a Bloodlust to be popping a little bit earlier. We might see a little bit more damage being taken by Kenshin right here, just because of that. And it looks like, yes, indeed, that second Bloodlust is going to come a little bit faster. This Mountain King is going to take a little bit extra damage than it probably should be right here. There is no shop up, so he's just going to take a lot of damage on this Mountain King. As you can see, he's actually getting quite low, all things considered, but it looks like he's not going to take any more damage with it. It's not a terrible idea to tank on that. Here we can see Lucifer trying to get the steal off on the Ogre. However, Kenshin, wise to that, stops and doesn't let that happen. It looks like, never mind, he actually goes ahead and was counting on getting damaged on his Mountain King by buying a 4-stroll Shadow Priest from up here, utilizing generally a footman and a militia. You pull it away and then you send a militia in or something like that to buy the thing, and then you both run out. And so that's essentially how you do that. I probably should have saw that, but I probably should have caught that on there, but I didn't realize that was happening. So over here we can see that he is going to be able to heal that Mountain King up to no problems at all. And over here we can see that the Lord Lightstalker, Lord Lightstalker, that's his name. He stalks light. I guess the human is the light. They're like the archbishops. Well, there's no archbishop actually. That's the archmage. Well, whatever. The Mountain King. He's a dwarf. He lives underground. He's not the light. Okay. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so this is the Death Knight just getting over here, and it looks like this was actually going to go ahead and use Abolish to pick off those skeletons, at least one of them. The other skeleton is in Kenshin's base. Lucifer just scouting about, trying to figure out exactly where is Kenshin going to go. What is he going to do? Figures it out. He's going to try to take an expansion. Comes over here with his Death Knight, is bringing a Fiend as well. And he's going to try to do something. You got to be very careful here, because if you get bolted, you can get surrounded very easily. And if you get surrounded, you die. And here we can see it looks like trying to get the steal right there, not quite able to do so. It looks also like Kenshin not too concerned as much about getting a bolt surround off on this Death Knight as he is concerned about keeping him from getting any of the experience from the creeps. Now, yes, I was about to say, the Mountain King just got an amazing item. It's a Pendant of Energy, 150 mana, just as important to have mana on the Mountain King as it is to have on the Death Knight. Perhaps even more so when you go first, Mountain King first, just because you don't have Brilliance or keeping your mana up. And that's a pretty big deal. So this is a very, very strong, very, very powerful Mountain King with that Pendant of Energy. And, of course, yes, more bolt. That's the whole idea. The more mana, the more bolts. And that's going to be very strong to see. So we're going to see exactly what Lucifer's response to this is going to be. And I think, you know, I don't know exactly what Kenshin was going to do here, but it looks like he might be going straight into here to try to kill these acolytes. He'll easily be able to pick off some acolytes utilizing Bolt, and especially with a pendant where he's going to have an extra mana regen, because, well, I don't think you have extra mana regen, but you have extra mana is what I was going to say, and with mana regen, then it's going to be very easy to have a lot of mana. Now, instead, it looks like he's going to go ahead and try to pick off some stuff right here. He does go ahead and bolt immediately, and Lucifer coils and immediately TPs out of there. He does not want to risk losing any of those fiends. Those fiends are very important, much more important than that teleport scroll would have been. Here we can see there are 3 fiends out, and he doesn't really need to get a critical number of fiends out before he can really deal with this. Here we can see a bolt going off on the Death Knight. Lucifer trying to use some micro here to prevent it from being surrounded. It looks like it might be surrounded anyway, and a very, very good bash. It's actually going to definitely seal the fate of that Death Knight. The Death Knight is going to go down most likely. Yes, it does. Here we can see a level 3 Mountain King. That's very powerful. Very, very powerful Mountain King. And now we have a level 1 Lich that just came out as well. Going to get some Novas off. Going to try to pick off these footmen wherever he can. Lucifer definitely fighting it seems to the end, and just going to keep this up. A lot of times players would leave if that happened, because that Mountain King is absolutely going to be a huge, big issue and a big thorn in Lucifer's side at this point. And of course, with this expo going up without really having any issues, going to be very easy to keep that up. And Kenshin is definitely way miles ahead at this point. He's going to be able to very, very easily tech up and keep everything alive. So here we can see this is in fact a keep going up, and here we can see this is Lucifer just trying to creep out, getting a little bit of items, trying to finish things, trying to continue his normal routine here. But is it going to really be very normal at this point? I don't think so, because things are just going to be much harder for him from this point on. And here we can see this is Kenshin just running around. He's going to be able to creep this out, no problem if he so desires, although he may not. He's going to be able to buy a 4-stroke Berserker as well as a 4-stroke Shadow Priest, which could kill this Red Drake if he wanted to. And it looks like that might very well be what his goal is to do. He might not even decide to kill it, but he could, and it looks like he will, because he is going to go ahead and, in fact, bolt this thing. And that's a couple of bolts is all it's going to take. 1 bolt, maybe even 2 bolts will definitely seal the fate of this Red Drake. And here you can see with a Clarity Potion, definitely has the mana to go ahead and waste, or quote-unquote, it's not really a waste, is it, to go ahead and kill that. And here we can see Lucifer is creeping over here, trying to get some items. Let's see, what does he get? He goes ahead and picks up a Healthstone. Not quite the item he wanted, I don't think, but it's good enough. Kenshin buying that Mud Golem perhaps a little bit early, but he did go ahead and slow it. And I say a little bit early, maybe not. Maybe he intended to buy that and to have it slow, but it spawns with slow on autocast. So if he didn't intend to slow that, he should have waited to buy that until the Drake was dead. So, but the 4-stroke Berserker was very low, so it may very well have been an intentional thing to have it slowed. Now here we can see Lucifer actually bringing in a Goblin Zeppelin. This is going to be a pretty big deal, because that Mountain King is going to hurt with those bolts, and he's going to need to be able to get those units out of the ground, off the ground, and away from the footmen and away from the Mountain King. And that Zeppelin is exactly what it's going to take to do it. Now there are only 2 towers here. With only 2 towers here, I do believe that Kenshin is relying on the fact he can bring he can bring in a bunch of militia and try to keep things alive that way, and really just kind of bum rush Lucifer here. But of course, he might not have been counting on the fact that Lucifer will have this Goblin Zeppelin up, and that might be enough. Is he going to be able to pick off this Mud Golem? Looks like he's not going to even attack it again. Wasn't quite close enough. You can see that he is going to go ahead and lose that Footman. A Fiend does go down, in fact, and the Goblin Zeppelin has been slowed, and that's going to make it a little bit harder for it to actually pick units up and to help micro and do things that away. But it's not going to be too terribly bad. As you can see, this thing is so funny when it's this slow. It's like really slow. But it looks like Lucifer is going to back off. This isn't a terribly bad position for Kenshin. He's still in a pretty good spot right here. As you can see, he's already at tier 2, getting a Paladin out, as well as those double Arcane Sanctums. Now we can see Lucifer is going to try to continue this wagon push. I don't know if a wagon push is going to be very effective, but good luck to Lucifer, I will say, because I am rooting for him, of course. But it's going to be very difficult to win this game at this point. He is going to go ahead and keep this Fiend alive with a good Frost Armor and Coil. He is not level 3 on his Death Knight. He needs to get level 3 on his Death Knight very bad. A Fiend goes down. Trying to keep them alive using this Zeppelin is very difficult, because you can't pick them up when they're stunned, and that's unfortunate. Just trying to keep the ones that are very likely to get bolted out of the way. As you can see, what you can do is you can pick one up with a bolt in the air on its route to it. There's not enough mana for any coils at this point. This Mountain King is just absolutely tearing apart Lucifer's army. Very, very difficult to fight in this sort of position without a level 3 Death Knight. We do have a level 3 Lich, however. Not really the ideal here. The ideal is getting the level 3 Death Knight against this Mountain King. The Mountain King is so strong. Otherwise, I'm not sure what just happened there. I don't know who got the experience for that. I think it might have been Lucifer's Death Knight, but I really don't know. Actually, it doesn't look like he did, because the Lich would have got experience as well, and he is still sitting square on level 3. So this is unfortunate for Lucifer. This position is definitely clearly good for Kenshin here. That's also a little bit interesting. Kenshin could have gone with a Blood Mage, which would have provided so much nuking. You get 66% increased magic damage when you're in Ethereal form. Lucifer's Death Knight taking a ton of damage. Not going to use the Invoke Pot, going to use the Health Stone and get picked up and dropped off with the Zeppelin to keep him alive just a little bit longer there. This Mud Golem's still alive. I don't know if it has enough mana for a slow, though. It doesn't look like it does. We can see this smoke all up in the sky from this Zeppelin. Here you can see there's a mate wagon gonna go ahead and be picked up and dropped by when the Zeppelin dies. So you can see the Mountain King right here taking damage, but as well as the Death Knight. The Death Knight has no way out if this goes bad for him, so he's going to run away, use a regeneration scroll, and he is now level 3. He does go ahead and nuke this Paladin. He's going to be able to kill the Paladin. He may very well be able to get the Paladin down, but the Paladin is running into a shop. He's going to go ahead and buy the Invoke Potion as well as the Healing Scroll. I think those are items that Lucifer wanted to get on his Death Knight. However, he's going to go ahead and pick up a Scroll of Town Portal. Looks like a Lich is going to go down. I'm sorry, a Fiend is going to go down, as well as a Forest Troll Shadow Priest right there. Now, there is a wagon over here just beating on this shop. I don't think Lucifer meant for that to happen. I do believe he probably wanted to have that over there with him. And in fact, Lucifer is going to go ahead and call GG. So, unfortunate start for Lucifer. Great start by Kenshin. Great play really by both players, though. For the most part, I gotta say, unfortunate that Lucifer lost that Death Knight so early on. Definitely a big deal to lose a Death Knight, especially to a Mountain King. It's very hard to come back from that, but Lucifer almost pulled it out. But definitely good either way. So good games, and I'll see you guys in the game 3, which is, just click right here. It should be right about here when it's up. Anyway, so yeah, see you then.